Have you ever felt unseen, overlooked, or even forgotten? Like you're striving, you're praying, you're working, but no one seems to notice. Let me remind you today, God hides you for a reason. Before David was king, he was a shepherd in the fields, unseen and uncelebrated. Before Moses became a deliverer, he spent 40 years in the wilderness tending sheep. And before Jesus began his ministry, he spent 30 years in relative obscurity, preparing for the 3 years that would change the world. Sometimes we misunderstand the purpose of being hidden. We think it's rejection or punishment, but in truth, it is divine protection. When God hides you, he shields you from what you're not ready to face. You see, exposure is powerful. It reveals, highlights, and showcases, but exposure too soon can destroy. Imagine a seed planted in soil. The soil is not its prison, but its sanctuary. Beneath the surface, it is protected from harsh winds, predators, and the scorching sun that could scorch its potential before it even takes root. That seed is hidden because it needs time to grow strong and develop the foundation required to thrive. God hides you in the same way. He knows the weight of your purpose, and he understands the battles that come with being in the spotlight. The world sees the glory, but often overlooks the struggle that glory attracts. Before he brings you into full view, he ensures you are fortified for the storms that will inevitably come. There are enemies you cannot see, distractions you cannot predict, and pressures you cannot yet bear. God, in his infinite wisdom, shields you from these things by keeping you hidden until you are ready. Think about the story of Joseph. As a young man, he had grand dreams of leadership and influence, but God allowed him to be hidden through rejection, betrayal, and imprisonment. Why? Because the weight of his calling required preparation. God protected Joseph's destiny by hiding him in places where others saw no value in him. In those places, Joseph learned humility, patience, and trust. Imagine if Joseph had been elevated too soon. His lack of experience and emotional maturity could have sabotaged the very dream God had given him. Similarly, there are times in your life when you feel unseen or overlooked, but God is strategically keeping you out of sight because he knows what you are not yet ready to face. He is sparing you from attacks that could derail your progress. Exposure too early can attract adversaries you're not equipped to handle. Even Jesus, the Son of God, was hidden for 30 years before his public ministry began. His life teaches us that being hidden is not about a lack of potential, but about the necessity of preparation and protection. Another reason God hides you is to preserve your authenticity. In the early stages of growth, it is easy to be influenced by outside opinions, pressures, and expectations. By keeping you hidden, God guards the purity of what he has placed within you. He knows that if others have too much access to you too soon, they might dilute or distort your purpose. God hides you so that when you emerge, you do so as the person he has called you to be, not the version molded by others' expectations. It's important to remember that protection is not always comfortable. The soil surrounding the seed is dark and confining. The walls of a cocoon seem restrictive, even isolating, but they are necessary for transformation. What feels like limitation is actually liberation in disguise. God's hiding is not his absence, it's his closeness. He is covering you, shielding you, and nurturing you in ways that may not be visible but are undeniably powerful. Understand too that the process of hiding teaches trust. When you can't see the full picture, you are forced to rely on the one who holds it. It's in these moments of obscurity that your faith grows. You learn to believe in God's plan even when it doesn't make sense. You come to realize that his protection is an act of love, not neglect. When God hides you, he does it because he values you. You don't hide things that are insignificant, you hide treasures, valuable things, precious things. You are God's treasure, and he will not expose you to anything that could harm your destiny. Trust that his hiding is for your good, even when it feels uncomfortable. When the time is right, he will bring you into the light, not a moment too soon and not a moment too soon. Until then, rest in the assurance that his protection is perfect and his plans for you are good. When God hides you, it is not to hold you back, but to prepare you for what lies ahead. Seclusion is not punishment, it is the sacred ground where preparation takes place. In this hidden season, God shapes your character, refines your gifts, and aligns your spirit with his purpose. It's a process that might feel lonely or isolating, but it is deeply intentional. In fact, some of the most profound transformations happen away from the public eye, where distractions are minimized and your attention is fully fixed on what God is doing within you. Consider the process of building a house. Before the walls go up and the design takes shape, the foundation must be laid. That foundation is not glamorous, it's often messy, invisible, and uncelebrated, but it is the most critical part of the structure. Without it, the entire house is vulnerable to collapse. When God hides you, He is laying the foundation of your purpose. He is preparing you in ways that are essential for sustaining the weight of what He has planned for you. You may not see the full picture now, but every experience, every lesson, and every challenge in this season is a building block for what's to come. This time of preparation often involves teaching you to rely on God in a deeper way. In seclusion, you come face to face with your limitations, your fears, and your doubts. It's in this space that God reveals His strength in your weakness. You learn to trust Him more fully, not because of what He does publicly, but because of how He sustains you privately. He equips you with spiritual tools, patience, resilience, and faith that you'll need when the spotlight comes. Seclusion forces you to develop a relationship with God that is not dependent on external validation or recognition. It is in the quiet, hidden places that you come to know Him as your source, your guide, and your sustainer. Moreover, preparation in seclusion is where God refines your character. Sometimes the greatest work He does is not in your circumstances, but within you. He addresses the hidden issues of the heart: pride, impatience, insecurity, so they don't become stumbling blocks when you step into your destiny. In this season, He teaches you humility, reminding you that your purpose is not about self-promotion, but about serving His greater plan. He builds your integrity so that your actions in private align with your words in public. This refinement ensures that when you are finally revealed, your character will be as strong as your calling. In the hidden season, God also sharpens your gifts. Just as a musician practices in solitude before performing on stage, you are called to hone your skills in the quiet. This is a time for learning, growing, and becoming excellent in what you've been called to do. Whether it's developing your talents, gaining new knowledge, or mastering a craft, God uses this time to prepare you to operate at the highest level when the opportunity arises. The hidden season is where you practice, where you make mistakes, and where you meet mistakes, and where you grow without the pressure of an audience. Preparation in seclusion also allows you to focus on your purpose without distraction. When you're hidden, you're not caught up in comparison or the noise of external expectations. Instead, you're able to listen to God's voice more clearly. He speaks direction into your life, clarifies your vision, and reveals the steps you need to take. In this sacred space, you learn to walk in alignment with His will, undistracted by the opinions of others. The beauty of preparation in seclusion is that it ensures you are ready when the time comes. When God finally brings you out of hiding, you will not only be equipped, but also confident in the knowledge that you have been prepared by Him. You will carry the assurance that the time you spent in the shadows was not wasted, but was, in fact, the key to your success. So do not despise the season of being hidden. Embrace it as a gift. Understand that God is not delaying you. He is preparing you. He is working on you for you and through you. Trust the process, because when the season of preparation is complete, you will emerge ready, strong, and fully equipped to walk in the fullness of your purpose. God's timing is one of the most profound and mysterious aspects of His divine plan. When He chooses to hide you, it is not a denial of your potential or purpose. It is a deliberate act to ensure that when you are revealed, it happens at the perfect moment. Timing is everything in God's kingdom. He is never late and He is never early. His revelation comes exactly when you are ready and when the world is prepared to receive what He has placed within you. Think about how the sun rises. It doesn't burst into the sky all at once. It begins as a faint glow on the horizon, gradually illuminating the earth until it reaches its full brilliance. If the sun rose too quickly, the world wouldn't have time to adjust. The same principle applies to your life. God orchestrates the timing of your revelation to ensure that it aligns with his purpose and his plan. He understands that too much too soon can overwhelm you, and too little too late can leave you unprepared. When God hides you, it's because the conditions for your emergence are not yet right. He is aligning circumstances, preparing opportunities, and positioning people in your life to help you fulfill your destiny. Often we focus solely on our readiness, asking, why am I still waiting? But God's timing takes into account not just your readiness, but also the readiness of the environment he's placing you in. It's not just about you being ready to shine. It's about the stage being ready to receive your light. Consider the story of Esther. She was hidden in the palace for a season, living as just another woman in the king's harem. Yet her time of revelation came at a pivotal moment when her courage and position could save her people. If Esther had been revealed too soon, she might not have had the influence or favor she needed to make an impact. God's timing ensured that when she stepped forward, her actions aligned perfectly with his divine plan. This principle of timing is not limited to biblical stories. It applies to your life as well. There are dreams, ideas, and purposes within you that God has planted, but he knows that revealing them prematurely could lead to their failure. Timing is about maturity, not just of the dream, but also of the dreamer. God wants to ensure that when you step into your calling, you have the wisdom, character, and strength to sustain it. He doesn't just prepare the opportunity, he prepares you for the opportunity. During this waiting period, it's easy to grow impatient, wondering if God has forgotten you. But waiting is not wasted time. It is in these moments that God does some of his most important work. He uses this season to teach you patience, deepen your trust in him, and sharpen your focus. The waiting refines you, humbles you, and prepares you for the weight of what's to come. Remember, the greater the calling, the longer the preparation. God's timing also protects you. Imagine if Joseph's dream of leadership had been fulfilled the moment he had it. He wasn't ready to handle the complexities of ruling a nation. God used the time between Joseph's dream and its fulfillment to mold him into the leader he needed to be. Similarly, God delays your revelation not to frustrate you, but to ensure that when you step into your purpose, you do so with authority, clarity, and strength. When the time of revelation comes, it will be undeniable. God will open doors that no one can shut and position you in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. Your unveiling will be marked by divine favor and undeniable impact. But until that moment arrives, trust the process. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, preparing both you and the world for what he has planned. Timing requires trust. Trust that God knows what he's doing. Trust that he sees the bigger picture. Trust that his plans for you are good, and that he is not withholding anything from you, but is orchestrating the best for you. When the moment of revelation comes, it will not be rushed or delayed. It will happen exactly when it is meant to, and it will be worth every second of the wait. So embrace the hidden season. Rest in the knowledge that God's timing is perfect, and when he chooses to reveal you, it will be with power, purpose, and precision. The wait is not a delay, it's divine preparation for the greatness that is to come. When God hides you, it is not to stifle your potential, but to create the perfect environment for your growth. Growth often happens in the unseen, quiet spaces of life, places where the process is slow, steady, and deliberate. Much like a seed buried in the soil, the season of being hidden is where you develop the depth, resilience, and strength required for the heights to which God is calling you. Growth is rarely instantaneous. It is a journey of transformation that requires time, patience, and trust. Growth in hiddenness is essential because it allows you to build a foundation that can support the weight of your purpose. Imagine a tree with shallow roots. Even if it grows tall, a strong wind could easily topple it. But a tree that takes the time to grow deep roots, stretching far beneath the surface, can withstand storms and thrive in any season. When God hides you, he is growing your roots, your character, your faith, your perseverance, so that you can stand firm no matter what challenges you face in the future. One of the most beautiful aspects of growth in hiddenness is that it happens without the pressure of external scrutiny. In this season, you are free to make mistakes, learn, and refine your abilities without the weight of public expectations. God creates a safe space for you to discover who you are in Him, away from the noise of the world. This seclusion allows you to focus on internal growth rather than external validation. You are not performing for an audience, you are being molded by the Creator. Growth also requires a process of shedding. Just as a caterpillar must shed its old form to transform into a butterfly, you may find that God uses the hidden season to strip away old habits, mindsets, or relationships that no longer serve your purpose. This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is necessary. Growth requires letting go of what holds you back so that you can step into what God has prepared for you. In the hidden places, God refines you, removing impurities and strengthening your core, much like gold is refined in fire. In this season, God teaches you the value of patience. Growth cannot be rushed. A seed cannot force itself to sprout faster, and neither can you force your development. God's timing is perfect, and He knows exactly when you are ready to emerge. The hidden season teaches you to trust His timing, to rest in His process, and to believe that even when you can't see progress, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Every moment spent in hiddenness is contributing to your growth, even if it doesn't feel like it. Another critical aspect of growth in hiddenness is the strengthening of your faith. When you're hidden, you may feel isolated or forgotten, but these feelings drive you closer to God. It is in the quiet, unseen moments that you learn to rely on Him completely. Your faith grows deeper because you are not dependent on external affirmation. You come to know God as your source, your sustainer, and your guide. This deep personal relationship with Him becomes the anchor that will hold you steady in the storms of life. God also uses the hidden season to develop your vision. Just as a photographer uses a dark room to develop a photograph, God uses the dark, quiet spaces of life to bring clarity to your purpose. In this time, He reveals insights, ideas, and direction that might have been missed in the chaos of the spotlight. Hiddenness allows you to focus without distraction, aligning your goals with His will. When the season of hidden growth comes to an end, you will be prepared to emerge not just as someone with potential, but as someone who is fully equipped to walk in their purpose. Growth in hiddenness ensures that when you step into the light, you will not only shine, but also have the strength, character, and resilience to sustain the success God has planned for you. So embrace the hidden season as a gift. Understand that growth is not always visible, but is always valuable. Trust that God is working in you and through you, even when you can't see the results. When the time comes, you will realize that every moment spent in hiddenness was preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. When God hides you, it is often because He is refining you. Refinement is a process that requires obscurity, a place where you can be molded and shaped without the distractions or distortions that visibility often brings. This season is about preparing the vessel for the purpose it will carry. It's about removing what doesn't belong, strengthening what is weak, and perfecting what is essential. Refinement is not punishment. It is the loving attention of a Creator ensuring that what He is forming is fit for the destiny He has planned. Obscurity provides the perfect environment for this refining process. Much like precious metals are refined in fire to remove impurities, your time in hiddenness is where God burns away anything that could hinder you from fulfilling your purpose. This fire isn't meant to destroy you, but to purify you. It's where God confronts the areas of your life that need transformation, whether it's pride, insecurity, impatience, or fear. These things might not be visible to the outside world, but God sees them, and in His wisdom, He knows they must be addressed before you can step into your calling. Refinement in obscurity also involves teaching you to navigate challenges without seeking external validation. When you're hidden, the applause, recognition, and affirmation of others are absent. This can feel disheartening at times, but it is incredibly valuable. It forces you to rely solely on God for your sense of identity and worth. You learn that your value is not determined by what people see or say about you, but by the fact that you are His creation, loved and chosen for a purpose. This realization strengthens your core, ensuring that when you do step into the light, your confidence will not be shaken by the opinions of others. In this season, God also refines your motives. Hiddenness is where the reasons behind your actions are tested and purified. Are you pursuing your calling for personal gain or to fulfill God's plan? Are you seeking to glorify Him or to elevate yourself? These are questions that must be answered in the quiet spaces of your soul. God uses this time to align your heart with His will, so that when He reveals you, you act not out of selfish ambition, but out of a genuine desire to serve Him and others. Another aspect of refinement is the development of discipline. In obscurity, you learn to steward your time, talents, and resources wisely. Without the pressure of an audience, you can focus on building habits and practices that will sustain you in the long term. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is essential. It's what allows you to remain steadfast when the demands of your calling increase. Refinement ensures that you have the stamina and resilience needed to endure the challenges that come with greater visibility and responsibility. This process also deepens your intimacy with God. When you are hidden, distractions fade away and you are left with Him. In this space, you come to know Him more deeply, not just as a God who blesses, but as a God who refines. You learn to hear His voice, discern His guidance, and trust His timing. This intimacy becomes the foundation for everything you do. It equips you with the spiritual strength to withstand adversity and remain faithful to your calling, no matter the circumstances. Refinement in obscurity is not just about removing the bad, it's also about enhancing the good. God sharpens your skills, clarifies your vision, and builds your character. He prepares you for the opportunities that lie ahead, ensuring that you are not only capable of stepping into them, but thriving within them. Every lesson learned, every challenge faced, and every moment spent in hiddenness contributes to your growth and development. When the time comes for God to reveal you, the world will see the result of His work, but they won't see the process that shaped you. That's the beauty of refinement that happens in the secret places, away from the noise, yet its impact is undeniable. You will emerge not only as someone who is ready for their purpose, but as someone who carries the strength, wisdom, and grace that only come through God's refining hand. So do not despise the season of obscurity. Embrace it as an opportunity for God to do His most profound work in you. Trust that He is refining you for a reason, preparing you for a purpose greater than you can imagine. And when the time comes, you will be ready not because of your own efforts, but because of the transformative work He has done in the hidden places. When God hides you, it is often an act of divine protection. He shields you from premature exposure to ensure that you are not revealed before you are ready or before the environment around you is prepared to receive you. Premature exposure can jeopardize the very purpose God has designed for your life. This protection is not about holding you back. It is about safeguarding the greatness within you so that it can flourish at the right time and in the right way. Premature exposure can be likened to fruit picked before it's ripe. While it may look appealing on the outside, it lacks the flavor and nutrients that come with full maturity. In the same way, stepping into your calling too soon can lead to a lack of depth, strength, or readiness to handle the challenges that come with it. God knows this, and in His wisdom, He ensures that you are hidden until you are fully prepared. His timing is not just for your benefit, but also for the impact you are meant to make in the lives of others. When you are exposed too early, you may encounter pressures and challenges that you are not equipped to handle. The spotlight can magnify weaknesses, amplify insecurities, and place demands on you that could lead to burnout or failure. God's protection in hiding you is His way of shielding you from these dangers. He is not just concerned with getting you to your destination. He is invested in your ability to stay there, thrive, and fulfill His purpose once you arrive. This protection also extends to your relationships and environment. Sometimes the people or circumstances around you are not yet aligned with God's plan for your life. Revealing you prematurely could result in relationships that drain you instead of supporting you, or opportunities that distract you from your true calling. In hiding you, God is ensuring that the right people, resources, and conditions are in place for your emergence. He is orchestrating a season where everything aligns for His glory and your success. During this time, it may feel as though you are overlooked or forgotten, but nothing could be further from the truth. God sees you, knows you, and is actively working on your behalf. The hidden season is a reminder that your value is not determined by visibility or recognition. It is an opportunity to trust in God's care and provision, knowing that He is protecting you from anything that could derail your destiny. Protection from premature exposure also allows you to build resilience and strength in a safe space. The challenges you face in hiddenness are opportunities to grow without the added pressure of public scrutiny. Just as an athlete trains in private before competing on the world stage, God uses this time to prepare you for the demands of your purpose. He strengthens your faith, sharpens your skills, and fortifies your spirit so that you can stand firm when you are finally revealed. Another aspect of this protection is that it shields you from the enemy's attacks. When you are hidden, you are less likely to face the full force of opposition that comes with stepping into your calling. God's covering ensures that you are safe from harm and able to focus on growing into the person He has called you to be. This divine protection is a testament to His love and care for you, as He ensures that nothing can hinder the plans He has for your life. It's important to recognize that God's hiding is not rejection but redirection. It is His way of keeping you on the path that leads to His best for you. When you feel the frustration of being hidden, remind yourself that God is working for your good. He is protecting you from the pitfalls of premature exposure and preparing you for a future that exceeds your expectations. When the time comes for you to step into the light, you will do so with confidence, strength, and purpose. You will carry the assurance that you were hidden not to be forgotten, but to be prepared and protected by the hand of God. The season of hiding will have served its purpose, and you will emerge as a vessel ready to fulfill the calling on your life. Trust in His protection and timing, knowing that He is always working for your good. When God hides you, it is not a sign of neglect, but an expression of His love, wisdom, and purpose. Every hidden season serves a divine purpose, whether it is to grow your roots, refine your character, protect your potential, or align your timing with His perfect plan. What may feel like obscurity to you is, in fact, God's intentional process of preparation. He sees the end from the beginning, and He knows what you need to become who He has called you to be. In the hidden seasons, God is working on you and for you, even when you cannot see or understand it. He is growing your faith, sharpening your focus, and building a foundation that will sustain you for the journey ahead. He is removing impurities, strengthening your character, and positioning you for success. He is aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities to ensure that when the time of revelation comes, you are ready to step into your purpose with power, grace, and wisdom. Do not despise the hidden seasons or rush the process. Embrace them with trust and gratitude, knowing that God's timing is perfect and His plans for you are good. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. You are not overlooked, you are being refined. And when the time is right, God will reveal you in a way that magnifies His glory and fulfills the destiny He has ordained for your life. So be patient, remain faithful, and keep trusting Him. The hidden season is not the end of your story. It is the prelude to a greater chapter. When you are revealed, it will be evident that every moment of waiting, every challenge endured, and every lesson learned was worth it. God hides you for a reason, and that reason is always tied to His ultimate purpose for your life. Rest in this truth, and let His work in the hidden places prepare you for the greatness He has in store.